you got to realize that whatever you're doing, you're competing with somebody. What is it that gives you an advantage over your competition? Whatever you're good at, try to be great at it. And if you're great at it, good things will happen.
Maverick Podcast.
I'm far from average. That's why I had to come sit down and chop it up with DJ Maverick. They know my name from coast to coast and even in Dallas. I use my talent when I'm faced with a challenge. Gratitude strength is my magnet. Close your eyes and imagine. If you can see it in your mind, then you can have it.
Maverick Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. This is the Maverick Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Maverick. Today, we have a rock star in the building, the one and only CHALLO. Welcome back.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
I'm super excited. It's been way too long. I think it's almost a year since you were last back.
Yeah, so, that's right. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, for anybody that missed it, for the 1% of the people out there that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I go as CHALLO. I'm a OKC musician, Latinx kind of genre bending, R&B. I make music for, most of my life, about, 20 years. So I'm 38 now.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
Quite a long time. So I've been in it for a minute.
Cool. We were talking about, a lot can happen within a year.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of scared me a little bit because in one of the social media posts, you were like, hey, I think I'm done with music.
Yeah.
You took everything down. So maybe, I don't know if you want to dive into that.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah.
It sounds like maybe you were going through some stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think I think a lot of musicians go through that kind of situation. We kind of get in our heads a lot, and the industry's hard. Yeah. You've been a part of it. So like, it's not easy, especially kind of making means, so, yeah, I had a little bit of a point in my life last year where I was like, man, I think it's it. I just proposed to my fiance last year, so I was just kind of thinking maybe it's time. Like the next thing's gonna be a house and kids. Like, do I have the time and the energy and the finances to do that? And so, but crazy enough, I was gonna do that earlier this year in February. I was gonna release one more CHALLO song and kind of take a long break, if not just kind of disappear altogether.
Okay.
And then, this thing with the Jay and the Bishop stuff happened. I got a little ping on my TikTok, and it just had, I think about 45,000 views or something like that on this video. This guy had featured it. Ferguson, I think I got that right. Hopefully, maybe I'll tag it at the end. I'll send you the TikTok tag. But yeah, he had featured this band that I had been a part of in 2019. So we kind of started it then, and then 2020 happened, so then everything shut down. So we'd only really been together for about a year. And then after that, we just kind of, everything kind of disbanded. People went on to other projects.
Right.
And
so during the time where you're like, hey, I'm going to maybe retire from being CHALLO, that's when the TikTok deal sort of like blew up? Or
yeah. Like, we all kind of have we can look at our profiles, our Spotify profile on Spotify artist, and I checked it every now and then because, we were still making some money. Yeah. And then I saw that it jumped from, we were at 2,000 monthly listeners, that we were almost at 25,000 in a matter. Like, and I was just kind of, what the hell?
And when I looked at it today, it's like in the 100,000s.
No way.
Spotify. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, the song or the
song?
Tell
Me That You Love Me.
Yeah. Tell Me You Want Me is at 200,000 or 290,000. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's very
We
cool.
finally made money this last month.
Congrats on that. That's really cool.
Yeah. So we saw that, and I kind of freaked out. Called the guys, and we're like, hey, I don't know what you guys are doing right now, but can I have like an emergency like phone call? And we ended up figuring some stuff out, and me and the keyboardist are going to continue the group and release some songs we hadn't released. I'd showed you one.
Yeah, I liked it.
So there's a handful of the songs that we hadn't. We were going to release during the time of 2020, but as I said, we disbanded. So we're going to do that. We're going to release some stuff, and if people like it, if we get a good response out of it locally, regionally, we're going to start playing again.
That's cool. Tell me a little bit about Jay and the Bishops. How did that project start? What's the meaning behind the name? Everything, because I didn't even know that you were part of that. It's kind of a secret you had.
Yeah. I
mean, pocket.
It's kind of a thing we had. Yeah. So Jay and the Bishops started. So when that's like the first band I had with these group of guys. We had Rag Manani playing bass, Alberto Robert playing drums, Alex Coleman playing guitar, and Kendrick McKinney playing keys. So we were already kind of playing together. I think for about 4 years after that, under just Jose Hernandez and the Black Magic Water. So we needed to figure out a way to shorten that name.
Yeah.
And so what happened is that Kendrick McKinney, the keyboardist, was like, dude, just call it Jay and the Bishops. Like, I don't know, like we were just trying to think of names to come up, because as you know, the name's long, and so we have to figure out a way to shorten it, and that kind of stuck. But we've been playing like together for at least 4 or 5 years before that. So, and that was, we were playing gigs under that name, and so yeah, I just kind of had been happening and kind of progressed into this, and we kind of, we were playing a little bit more consistently, and we had a consistent sound at this point. So, but yeah, unfortunately, COVID, did away with that. So I don't really mention that a lot because like CHALLO was a very different, thing, as you
Definitely
heard.
a different vibe. I mean, when I was listening to Jay and the Bishops, I mean, it's more of a rock type vibe, a blues type vibe, if you ask me. And then CHALLO is more, I guess, like R&B, soulful, blues. I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, I would say like it's probably more like R&B-ish, like, soulful. But yes, Jay and the Bishops is way more like a blues rock, R&B rock. I like to think of it like if Jamiroquai like had met like a Led Zeppelin-esque kind of vibe. So and so it has some of the same stuff that jazz chords and R&B lines and stuff like that, but it's a lot more rocking.
What it reminded me of was Lenny Kravitz.
Oh man, I love Lenny Kravitz.
So I don't know if you like Lenny Kravitz.
Hell yeah, I do. Yeah,
but
who doesn't?
That sound and everything, and then especially like where you like to sing up in the falsettos and stuff like that. That's what it reminded me of.
And dude, it's just so cool. Like we had such a good sound together. So something that kind of happened on accident. So.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit maybe about the challenges of being in a band and what led to disbanding.
Oh man,
a lot of bands, you always hear about that, and it's happened to a ton of my favorite bands where they're just like, okay, creative differences is what they always say.
I would say that's probably the closest way I could say it. I mean, without getting too much into it, I think that what happened is that during 2020, a lot of bands stopped playing, and so there were opportunities that were there that some of the guys kind of took, and so they kind of went with that, what was going on. And at that point, the groups we were playing in were kind of doing really well, so it really didn't leave me and two of the other musicians in there to kind of like work with. So I kind of put a pause on it, and then after a while, just kind of nobody really picked it up, and we were kind of going on our own journeys at that point.
And then this new track is called Voodoo, right?
Yeah, Voodoo, yeah.
And it's going to come out next month, is that correct?
It's going to come out May 17th.
May 17th.
We're going to do the short version, so you won't get the nice meaty stuff at the end.
Yeah.
But you do get the extended version on the I believe the week after that, so it would be the 24th, I believe.
Okay.
Right after that. So
I was telling you before we started recording, I really liked all the effects too, right? Like when you first listen to it, it sounds like it's speeding up, and then it has like dips, and then it changes structures.
Yeah.
And then towards the end on the vocal effects, it goes crazy.
It goes crazy.
Yeah. Who did all that? Like was it just a collaborative effort? Or
definitely a collaborative effort. That's one of those songs that we kind of, we were really starting to find our sound. And so that was one of the songs that we really kind of clung to as far as that's concerned. Yeah, that was definitely a band collaboration thing. But the ending, that little line that I have at the end, that's really the keyboardist playing that, and he has a I forget what it's called, but it's basically I'll sing something and it kind of pads it out in the keys, and he can kind of mess with my vocals, like, so I'm kind of sound like a robot a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds cool. I don't know if it's like a flanger or something.
Yeah, I forget what it's like something they did in the production stuff that they were like sing, and then he'll play this, and so and it kind of matched.
Is that going to be difficult to replicate live? Because that happens with artists too, right? Where they're like, sing with auto-tune or whatever, and then it's like live, and it's like hard to redo.
Oh man, we did that all the time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even. I mean, really, we had tracks, for some things, for background vocals, BGVs, things like that. But that most of it, we would just go for it, and that's exactly what it sounds like live. We played the 2020 New Year's Eve party for the Tower Theater.
Okay.
And we played it just like that.
Awesome.
And it just like, so that was kind of the height of it. So
yeah, no, that's cool. And it's crazy to think that kind of TikTok is what brought everything to the forefront, right? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that I definitely didn't expect. It kind of makes you, because, they always talk about like how the internet, so it's kind of like you kind of pay to play kind of scenario.
Right.
But it was one of those situations. I even messaged the guy. I was like, hey, what the hell? You know, how'd you find this? And he was like, I honestly was just kind of digging and you kind of popped up in my discovery and I loved it. And so I posted it and I was like, man, it's kind of changed my life. I was going to hang it up after, you know, before this, and I saw this, and now working and trying to figure out a new angle for it. So
that's incredible. And TikTok's been going through it as well, right? So they were in a big fight with Universal Music Group. I think finally I saw today where they finally reached an agreement. But there
No
for
way.
a while,
Did they?
They pulled everybody's music, right? So everybody that had TikToks with, you know, Beyonce or whoever, they were muted.
They were
right?
muted. Yeah.
But I think they finally reached an agreement. So it's crazy. So to me, what I was thinking, if I'm an up and coming artist, right now is my time to shine.
That's what
right?
that was.
There's like no Beyonce, there's no big artists. Like,
no.
let's go, you know, all in TikTok. But I don't know.
I mean, I think that was kind of the thing, right? This guy named Nick D that I follow sometimes, he basically said that. He was like, everyone's taking all the stuff off. You know, if you're an independent artist, you need to blast it now. This is the time to blast it. So hopefully I'm glad they figured that out, because I mean, TikTok is a tool, you know, that I think has changed people's lives. Even the guy that had shared that song on his, you know, he curates music, and he's like, man, if this goes away, I have to go back to the warehouse and work in a warehouse. Like, I've made a living off of this, you know, and so hopefully if they have, you know, last time I saw, I think they banned it. So if they did reach an agreement and it's over, thank God.
Right. I think so. The agreement is just for Universal Music Group. So that's just to get the music back and streaming.
So
then it's still like banned, right? I think if it gets signed through the government, they either have to like sell to a U.S. company or just basically like dismantle. Like,
no
that's gonna
way.
be there if
Well,
it
you
gets
can't,
if it gets passed. So we'll
too
see
much
what
money
happens.
in there to I feel like that's kind of like a strong arm American thing to do, you know, like, hey, you could be spying on us, we don't know, but because of that, you either got to sell it to us or
and I don't think they're gonna go for that, honestly. I mean, what's in it for them, right? Like, they're just gonna sell. So I don't know, it's gonna be interesting.
it'll be interesting, because if it does go away, I think you'll see like a weird change or shift. Something else will come up, right? You know, like as it always does. But that's a really great tool, and a lot of people will lose, you know, their ass on it, basically.
Definitely. So how do you stay true? You know, me knowing the CHALLO project, you like to be really acoustic. You like to be sort of cultural at times, right? How do you stay true to CHALLO and then Jay and the Bishops? Is it going to be like, you know, separate projects? You're going to continue both at the same time, or what do you think's going to happen there?
I think I'll do both at the same time. You know, I mean, CHALLO is really like the solo stuff, sometimes with bands, sometimes by myself, sometimes with tracks. Jay and the Bishops will be like a full, you know, consistently a full band experience. So, but I think it's just kind of the same stuff. You know, I'm still the same. I have the same taste that I have now. It's not going to be necessarily the same kind of music. It'll definitely go where I'm imagining it, where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be hyped. So regardless, people will have fun if they show up or listen to the music. So
right. Would you say that your musical tastes have evolved since we last spoke? Because I think music has changed and continues to change daily.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I would
tell
say
me
so.
maybe like who's inspiring you right now, or what are you listening to right now?
Listen to a lot of Jamiroquai right now.
Okay.
Lots. And I think I may have said that in the last year.
Yeah.
So maybe I haven't changed.
If it works, it works, right?
There's another guy named Artemis. He has that single that's out. Everyone knows it. It's I like the way you kiss me. I know that you miss that guy. I like anything that's like, I mean, I'm digging it all at this point. Like, I just heard the new Kendrick Lamar disc for Drake. I think that was the best, you know, and I liked what Drake was doing before that, you know, and so I'm just kind of absorbing as much music as possible, because I enjoy it, you know, and then hopefully something good comes out of that. So
to be in the charts right now is super difficult, right? Like, Taylor Swift basically took up like 1 through 20, right? So to stand out, I think you have to be unique, a unique sound. So I don't know, new artists, you basically have to try something that hasn't been done right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think and also you have to have a lot of money. One thing I'm realizing now with Jay and the Bishops is that, you know, there are doors that weren't necessarily open to CHALLO on Spotify for someone that has more than 10K monthly listeners. So now, like, they're promotional tools that you get to use. And as I was reading and studying, and as the months have gone on, I've realized, okay, well, as happy as I am with where we're at, that definitely is not as big as I thought in my head. Because as I'm learning more, it's such a bigger a ceiling on, you know, on top, like you said. Taylor Swift just took over the entirety of that 20
the
list.
charts, it's like all her album.
Yeah, and that's it. And,
crazy.
and it does kind of make it difficult. But I think that people will always gravitate to new things, and I think as long as the heart's there, and as long as your emotions there, and as long as you are trying to be different or trying to reshape something else, I think it'll come through. Will you top the charts and be number one? Who knows? That's honestly, if that's a lottery ticket. So
Yeah.
so who knows? But I think that as long as someone that's an artist continues to maintain that integrity to be like, I'm just going to keep making music, the kind of music I would like to hear, then man.
I know when you scared me when you were saying you were going to retire, it kind of sounded like you weren't enjoying social media, right? But to be an artist and stay connected with all your fans, it kind of comes with the territory, right? So was that like the deal that you were just like, hey, I don't enjoy social media right now. I just need to like basically, step away for a while or what?
Yeah, that definitely was the thing. I mean, there were other issues too. There was some production issues and mix, things like files being lost, and so a lot of stuff. But yeah, generally it is always kind of the man. It's hard to to focus on music and the way you want to make it when you have to create content. You have to be consistent in posting. You have to watch the metrics. Who's your group? How do you build community? Like how do you find your people? And it kind of takes the soul out of it, because at least for me personally, and there are people out there that are much better at it than I am. I'm not. I'm such a novice at that. Like
you still feel that way even now.
Oh yeah, even now, even though it's been around for so long,
Yeah.
So
but I think, I don't know. You tell me. I think being on social media is kind of a cool thing because you get to see what your fans do look like.
Yeah.
You get that feedback of, hey, this is what they mess with and stuff like that. Before you put out a project, you would
never know. Yeah,
right?
You can invest thousands of dollars. Yeah, TikTok's a good example of that.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't, and the ones that do, I'm like, all right, cool. I'll remember those. The ones that don't, I'm like, well, if I like it, I like it. But I definitely believe it's a tool that you can use it. As far as like as an artist, I think it's important. Is it the most important? I don't necessarily know. I think that music at the core of the end of the day, that's the most important.
Yeah.
Because if you don't got anything to sell, that's like hyped or full of soul, then I don't know.
That's true. But I'm sure you've learned some lessons along the way. So you're probably going to do things differently.
Oh yeah.
With Jay and the Bishops, maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
you've learned you picked up some tips, right, or what?
I think I have just shooting a lot more content. I'm kind of learning that right now. I have a camera that I'm using and learning lights and how to build a room kind of thing. Where you're building a room with lights, a scene with lights. So that's a whole thing. It's kind of fun. I really enjoy it now.
Yeah.
I'm now that I'm like not so like anxious about it, because I'm like, okay, I kind of understand a little bit of what it's like to do that. So, and yeah, it is fun. It's like small little music videos, like you're just like, who cares? It looks nice, and that's what I'm gonna post. And
I just couldn't picture you giving up music, right? Because I think about like what I do and me trying to give it up. It's almost going to be like me giving up a part of me, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't know. When you were like, okay, I might step away, were you kind of second guessing yourself, or you're like, no, I'm ready? Like, to me, that would be super tough to do.
Definitely not ready. I don't think I want. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's not something. If I can be just, I guess transparent. It's just one of those things where I think for me, a lot of it is the idea of age. A lot of it is the idea of finances, like how much it takes and how much time you spend on it.
Yeah.
To put things out, to make it good, to make a product, and also being paid a fraction of a cent. So I think a lot of that's really just kind of. But if you move that away, for me, I'll always definitely, like, even if I stop posting and stop putting out music, I will still grab a guitar,
right?
And just mess around and still play,
And that's my thing. I think even if there wasn't a fan base, if there wasn't a big stage, I think you would still want to have that creative outlet.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe just not the way that generally what's expected of someone to do,
Yeah, because you think about Willie Nelson.
Oh yeah.
How old is that dude? He's still like, on the stage, right?
He's probably like 85, 90. But I didn't even know this. He broke out at 40.
Really?
At 40 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was a different time though.
Definitely was a different time.
The start right now is to release a few singles, see what people think, kind of get everything back and running again. So we've been getting the social medias back up and running. We've been getting the website back up and running, getting the distribution, all the small stuff that kind of like makes the machine work. Getting that back up, setting up, shows to play. Maybe after a few of these, I think we might go in there and do like a recording or two.
Okay.
Go back in there and record some new stuff. People enjoy it. So it really just on tentative on how people feel about it and if we get a good reaction or not. So this will be the first single out. So I'd re-release Lies on it.
Okay. That's one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely like that. And this new project, I heard some horns.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got like a whole like horn section.
No, that was that one time. But
Really?
if things work out good and is what we've been kind of talking about, I mean, to me, it's just like a matter of like, how big can we make it? How big can we make it till we don't, go broke?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the idea. This is kind of one of those projects where I want to, when we play it live, I want it to be super special. And if horns and a second synth player, like, whatever it may be, we're going to do it, backup vocals, things like that. So
whoever you got on keys too, like
that's Kendrick. That's like Kendrick McKinney,
dude. The keys,
yeah,
like,
he's
he
bad.
just goes off in the song and stuff like that. And even like the sort of sounds that they decide to go with.
Yeah, Kendrick.
It sounds like really thick and like, it kind of gives you almost like a throwback feel.
Oh yeah, that guy is so I don't know if you know Kendrick McKinney, but he is the jazz guy of the city. So anytime you see a jazz show going on at Speakeasy or somewhere else in the city or at another bar, it's most likely, or he's gonna do the Prince tribute show at Tower Theater. He's done it, I think 3 times. This is the 3rd time or 2nd time. Yeah. So he's like a big, I would say he's a genius.
Yeah.
The guy knows jazz. Like I've never seen it. I don't know. Like he just doesn't even think, he doesn't even look. He's just doing this and looking at someone else and he's just doing runs.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I mean, it definitely stands out. Like for sure, the horns, the keys, and then the guitars. The guitars were super thick on that project that you sent me, the Voodoo track.
Yeah.
It's just like deep guitar throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, that's Alex Coleman. That's all of him. Yeah, we worked well together. So hopefully, things work out. We can put something more out. We have about I think a handful of unreleased stuff. So hopefully, people gravitate towards it. And if they do, then at least for us, that's good enough for us to kind of like, okay, cool. We'll figure this out and we'll make it happen.
There's new social media for the band and everything?
Not yet. Not going to drop that until the song is out. So we got I know we got the TikTok right now. Obviously been working on that for a while. But no Instagram right now. Website, landing page is ready to go just whenever that does happen.
Cool.
So
YouTube's
YouTube's
gonna
ready
be a
to go.
surprise drop the day of the single. Everything.
This is the
comes
first time I'm talking to
No way.
Yeah, the first person I'm
That's
talking
cool.
about. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the first time like actually like talking about it with someone else, So
Yeah. And is there going to be a show coming up soon after the single drops, or
hopefully we are hoping and maybe to jump on a show sometime in June, but we're still waiting on that as of right now. But so everything's kind of tentative to how it's going to play out, because we don't really know. I mean, this could be. We could have all these listens and all these people listen to the song and it could be great and it could go away, at any time soon. So, so we just kind of like
positive.
I'm positive, but definitely realistic,
Yeah.
But I'm excited, man. It kind of pulled me out of that place, like you'd said. I was definitely thinking about quitting, if not definitely for a long time.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where I don't know if it's the universe or something or whatever it may be. It was definitely like, hey, you can still do this. It's all right, so.
Have you played Norman Music Festival? Have you done that?
Man, I did. I played it this weekend, but I only played Friday.
Okay, I was going to say it got canceled.
And it got canceled, yeah.
Weather. Tornado.
Yeah.
Which I think they made the right call.
I totally
It got
agree.
pretty sketchy, right?
Well, even with the rain and the lightning. I mean, if you're out there with with all that metal all around you, man, it's not
all that electrical equipment.
Yeah, you don't want to be around that.
So you did play Friday?
Yeah. I ended up playing with Original Flow. I don't know if you know him. Original Flow on the Waves. He's dope. He's a homie. We had the song We Die, so we went ahead and just played that with the band. So I was able to jump on, and they were on main stage Friday night. Yeah. So
what was that like? What was that experience like?
It was awesome. I'd never been on the main stage.
No.
No. I've played Norman Music Festival a few times, and
Yeah.
I've never done it. It was awesome. Definitely felt like you ever get those like like we were on there sound checking. I didn't feel that big, right? And then as soon as I jumped on, everyone my friend Daniel Kuda was like super far away, and I was like, oh my God, you're so far away. So like everyone seems so far. So I just closed my eyes and I just, sang my part, did my thing, and it worked out,
Got it. But you did it as part of the different project, not CHALLO, not Jay and the Bishops. It was just like a collab with
Yeah, it was a collab with Original Flow and the Waves. Yeah.
Okay.
So we did that song together. So we just did that one song.
Got it.
And then I jumped back off, but it was fun, man. He has a killer band, I will say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And he's like a rap artist?
He's a rap artist, hip hop artist. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be interested to check out that project.
Oh man, he's super cool. You got a lot of great bangers on that.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about recording Voodoo. We were talking about all the different structures and stuff like that. Were you involved in that process too? Did you write the lyrics? Because we were talking about the other song where it says, "Hey girl, you got the thunder, you make my heart rumble."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I got the OKC connection. That was cool.
I wrote a couple of parts. As we were writing it, if I can remember back in 2019, as we were writing it, it really was more collaborative. I would say like, hey, this would sound better if we could do this. So we were kind of shared in that writing. Lyrically, again, same thing. Me and Alex Coleman kind of wrote some of the lyrics. I think he kind of helped me on the first verse. But yeah, it was very, very collaborative piece. One that we'd only done one other one like that, and that was Lose Control. And so this was the second one. I really felt like we kind of had it there at that one.
Cool. So this project is just going to be singles at a time for this?
Yeah,
band?
singles at a time for right now.
Going to roll it out. Okay.
Yeah, and then I'd love to do at least a 10 song.
Yeah.
It's
so
LP.
expensive though, right? Do you usually go to the studio or do you try to produce as much as you can?
We're gonna try to produce as much as we can inside. Okay. Kendrick has a little studio as well, and I have one at home. So we're gonna try to minimize the spending as much as possible, and kind of whatever we have to do out in an actual studio, we'll do it. But man, if I had the money, I'd love to do it live. That'd be hella cool. Good. That'd be so much fun.
Tell me about maybe the challenges, right? Because I'm sure you were still writing throughout the whole thing, even if you decided, hey, I'm gonna retire. You're probably still writing songs and stuff like that, right? So tell me about that. Like, is there any challenges where you thought you were bottling up some of your talent and you I gotta express this somehow, or no?
I think it's like that sometimes. This is one of the most, for me, this is a different situation because I'm focusing so much more on the back end, like the promotion and analytics and all that stuff and the business side of it, which I'm not really familiar with. But yeah, as of late, I've definitely I've been writing some stuff, and as I've been doing this for the last 3 months, kind of building everything back up. I have like a good handful of songs. I don't know where it's gonna go. Is it CHALLO? Is it Jay and the Bishops?
That was my next question.
Yeah, so I don't know. So it kind of depends upon Jay and the Bishops is very much I would say like, I don't want to call it like a party band, but it definitely come see a good show and have fun. CHALLO is very much of a self-reflective, looking at the world, like kind of in that gaze of eye. So I'm definitely gonna be like, all right, what's fun, what's not fun? Like, what's a love song? Cool, that's a love song. That's a fun song. And is this more of a sad, reflective song? Okay, well, we'll just go with CHALLO. So.
With Jay and the Bishops, do you guys do covers too? Like if you're playing an event or something like that, or what?
And we used to do a lot of covers. We used to do Prince's all the time. We would do Die For You. We do let's see, I Want to Be Your Lover.
Really? Okay.
I love that Prince stuff.
Yeah, I feel like Prince is super hard to cover though. I mean, you better nail that.
I can't dance, but I can sing like him.
you can handle the vocals?
Yeah, I can.
I mean, I think that's the most important part.
Oh, yeah. I can't move like him, but definitely I can hit those notes. More especially now than I used to, so.
With CHALLO, is there going to be any projects coming up anytime soon, or what?
Yeah, we got a couple of things. We got a couple of singles coming out. I'd kind of had put back, but I'm gonna go ahead and release them. About two of them. For right now, a lot of the focus round is gonna probably be on getting Jay and the Bishops back off the ground. So if there's some downtime, I don't know, if things do work out and I'm able to make this happen, I'd like to do more, like a little bit more acoustic CHALLO, little EP or something like that would be fun.
For the CHALLO project, is it like a full piece band, or how do you usually roll with CHALLO?
I just write it all myself at home. So if people, are willing to come out and play for me, for a price that I can afford, then, definitely that's a full band. But it's a lot harder to pitch a solo project, to a venue than it is like a band.
You performed as CHALLO before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Live. I think there was even a project where you did with Lee Ernan, right? Like, didn't you do like a sort of a live show with her? I think, right?
That's right. Yeah, we did that. We did that. One, dude, I love her. She's great,
Yeah.
man. She was on your. Yeah.
She's kind of a person too that she likes to experiment with different genres too, and she has vocals to do like crazy.
Oh man, she's a
rock songs and stuff like that, like Journey or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. And she did a couple. She did I think a cover. We played at man, what is that place on the south?
I remember
side?
seeing the flyer for it, but it was like a while back.
Yeah, they had like these, the palateros and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like but it was like an actual place. But man, she rocked it. She got the whole crowd moving at some point. Like we were all just like vibing, singing with her. But yeah, like kind of in the same way, like, we played that show and that was really cool. That was more of like a sit down listening room, at that point. So people were actually attentive. And so I just played acoustic. I think Yasmin as well played as well. So,
Cool.
yeah, I like shows like that. I love shows like that because that just doesn't take a lot of like mental power for me to get,
Right.
that together.
With Jay and the Bishops, I also heard that there was some female vocals, right?
That's right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
You got a female singer in the band? Or
Well,
what?
that's Micah Young was on that "Tell Me You Want Me" song, and she's great. Hopefully, she's still playing music. But yeah, we were kind of like playing gigs together at the time, and we had a couple of gigs lined up, and so she was like, "Hey, I'd love to go."
So you haven't reached out to everybody that was doing the original project, and
I have reached out to
You
her.
have?
Yeah, not Micah. Micah is kind of doing her own thing, I think, and
okay,
she was actually one of the managers and general managers for Tower Theater, so I think she's kind of doing a lot more of that right now. But yeah, she laid down those vocals and with me, and man, just kind of made the song come together, in my opinion. On top of the horns are really cool too to add on to that. But yeah, I've reached out to everybody. Everyone's, like I said, doing their own thing. They're still in their projects, but Kendrick and I are kind of taking it as we're going with it and kind of building it up. And we're gonna continue to do this. It might not be the same players as we were before, but as long as me and Kendrick McKinney are a part of it, it's still Jay and the Bishops at that point. So
no real appearances from the real Chayo or anything like that, right? Because we were talking last time how you got the name Chayo and the crazy story behind that, right? So
no reappearances of haven't seen Chayo ever. Hopefully I never have to.
We were supposed to do a pod where we were talking
That's
about
right.
like all the different exactly
That's so
because there's so many like,
Chupacabras,
crazy like stories with Chupacabras, La Llorona, like there's a ton of those like sort of
I hate
legend
that
stories,
we like
right?
didn't do that. I think I kind of dropped the ball on that. That was actually
it takes
me.
a lot of research.
Yeah, that's right. You were like, hey,
'Cause I wanted to come in like
get
prepared.
ready,
Let's talk about it, right?
Yeah, I dropped the ball. That's my fault.
It's
But
something we should do.
I would love that.
Because I think a lot of people maybe haven't even heard about those legendary stories that you take probably for granted.
Yeah,
because you grew up hearing this over and over, and parents almost use it to like, hey, like get you to act right. Like,
yeah, like
if you don't
be careful.
listen. So what would you say? People, a young kid that's watching us right now, they're aspiring to be a musician. You've gone through a lot of the challenges. You've put equity, you put tears, sweat to make it happen. What would you tell them? Hey, like, to follow this dream, it's not going to be easy, right?
That's what I would say. I would say it's not easy. I would say that it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of hard work, and you may not get what you want out of it, but if you do continue, you will persevere, and you will be proud of yourself. I mean, it is a business. I wish someone would have been like, this is not like talent. I'll tell you this. I would say talent alone is not enough.
Yeah.
Just being able to sing well and write a good song, it's just not enough. And that's what I would say. Like, and I think a lot of these kids though are so good at that. I mean, and I hate to sound like an old person, but here I am, sound like an old person. Gen Z, man, they're just so freaking good at that stuff. It is insane. They're just so naturally able to communicate what they're saying, what they're feeling visually, through audio, through post. Like, they're just very consistent and creative generation. So like, if there's a kid right now that's like, I think I would probably have, I had a worse, I feel like they are just so much more like, capable of doing these things that are required of you as an artist. Cause you're right. Like social media is so important. It's like one of the main things you need to like communicate to your people. So I would say just, talent is not enough. And just because you can sing good and write a good song is not, it's not enough.
That's crazy to hear you say it, right? Like talent's not enough. You can be a great songwriter.
Yeah.
It's still not enough, right?
And I feel like there's so many people that, are just so ridiculously talented that I've seen time and time again and, have not broken through and have gotten, other people have gotten really lucky.
Yeah.
And broken through. But it is one of those things where like, man, it just, you could be a savant in it, just killing it. And maybe that is enough, but again, luck is, also part of that.
Yeah. In your book, is there any front runner for best new artists for this year, you think? Anybody that you're like, okay, this person's really doing something different?
I will say, so we went to Normal Music Festival, and I usually don't like, stick around a lot to watch a lot of musicians because, I don't know, just I think we've all seen each other so many times that we're like, oh yeah, I saw you last week or whatever. Like I've seen you, so many times over the last 4 or 5 years. There's this local band, and I just really freaking loved it, man. They're called Cow Tippers or the Cow Tippers. They played Normal Music Festival Friday night. It was probably like around 8 or 9 o'clock, and man, they like it had this like really cool kind of grunge new wave sound. So like definitely not what I would expect, but just very polished, very catchy hooks. And man, they had the whole crowd just wilding out. Like that crowd was full of like just a bunch of people. I think it was probably like 250 people just right up front.
Wow.
So it was awesome, and I enjoyed it a lot. Like we stuck around through the whole set. So I'd probably be a number one right now locally.
Okay.
Be Cow Tippers, yeah.
Cool. And they were doing original stuff or covers?
Original.
Or
I think they did one cover. They did My Chemical Romance cover.
Okay.
And I didn't even know that my fiance had to tell me that.
Oh, really?
So I was like, oh, okay. I thought that was their original song, but man, they just did great. Yeah, freaking talented, man. I don't know.
Okay. Shout out to them.
Cow Tippers.
Cow Tippers. I would have expected something different with that name, but you said it's kind of a grunge type of sound.
Yeah, so
right?
it kind of makes sense, right? I like the name. I thought about, it sounds a little country, but it ain't.
Yeah. What about concerts? You've been to any concerts? Because it's been like a year since you were last here, right? So did you go to any cool concerts just on a personal, like, hey, I'm a fan of this artist type of thing?
Man, I wish. I haven't, actually.
No?
Unfortunately. Okay. No, I was going to try to go to Kendrick Lamar, but those tickets sold hard.
Yeah.
Man. Like $300, I think at one point I was like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, I was gonna try to go to Bad Bunny. And,
you saw that?
Those prices are crazy.
So you went crazy, yeah. So I haven't seen anything. I did go to Japan last year. That was pretty fun.
Oh yeah, okay.
And got to see some cool Japanese jazz. Like it was pretty awesome, man.
Yeah. What was that like? Do you think it's pretty easy to travel? I mean, like not knowing the language and stuff like that, is that a barrier at all, or is it like super easy to do?
Man, they make it really easy, because everyone, the majority of people there speak English. And I even met someone that spoke Spanish.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
He spoke Japanese, English, and Spanish, and I was like, "What are you doing, dog? Like, where are you going? I want to go with you."
Yeah.
That was crazy. I mean, they're really polite, just generous people. Everyone there was. I mean, we came into it we were both sick on the flight. So we're sick. It's during August, so it's humid as hell, dude. And you can't even like. I didn't realize how humid it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And so we're sweating. We look like we're dying, and we don't know how. We came into the busiest like train station probably in the world.
Wow.
And we're just like, where do we?
Did you have a plan? Did you have an agenda?
Yeah. We had like an agenda. Yeah. We had like we had this app that would translate for you. Like they would take photos of like the signs or like anything printed out. Mm-hmm. It'd translate it for you. But man, this gentleman was like, "Hey, I know how to help you. Can you let me help you now?" And like I was like trying to communicate. It's like, I don't know Japanese. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's like, just give me your card, and just figured it out. Got to see the train, and you were able to get to our hotel. And yeah, I mean, it met some really cool people there. Met a bartender there that played in a band, and I mean, one of my favorite trips of all, like just period. Yeah. Just
does it live up to sort of I always hear about all these myths, right? Like everybody there take so much pride in their job and what they do, whether you're sweeping the streets or a bartender or whatever, like they do it to like the best of their ability, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that what you
110%, man?
Yeah.
Not like some of the cleanest streets. I mean, everyone picks up for themselves. Generous people. Yeah.
What about the food? Are you a big sushi guy or what? 'Cause I bet that would be like
man.
amazing. Tell me a little bit about that.
You're gonna hate this because we ate more ramen than we ate sushi.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were in Osaka for maybe 2 days, and so we could have had sushi, but we were so tired by the end of those days that we got there. They have these things where like they'll shut down the restaurant for like an hour so the employees can eat and have lunch. So like you kind of have to figure out what time that's going to be. So we didn't know that. So we're showing up at like, the afternoon. They were already closed, so they didn't open up till later. So I didn't get to try any of that. But man, I got to tell you, the ramen, oh my God.
Amazing.
Every time.
Yeah.
Like there was not a time that I didn't eat ramen there, and it was hot. And I didn't care. I was like, I'm doing this, and I'm just slurping it down. And they'll give you these giant, like, beers, pilsners that you just chug, and all that for $5.
Wow.
$5 American dollars.
Amazing. I don't know if you experienced that. What I've seen too is I guess maybe a lot of people there are introverts, or I don't know if they're shy, but there's like restaurants where you just like write down what you want, and like a little window opens up, you just slide the paper, and then they just give you your food, and there's like no really like people that you're talking to, right?
Yeah, I didn't go to one of those, but there's definitely something like that.
I don't know what the story is behind that, if they just don't want to interact with people or just like a privacy thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. See, to me, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I would do that. I would totally do that. I don't, I like people, but like if I have the opportunity to be like, hey, I don't got to talk to a waiter. I can just write down what I want and then slip it in here and pay you through this and never see anyone. You just give me my food here.
Yeah.
That's for me.
You're a fan?
Oh, I'm a fan. Yeah. Got to see the Godzilla, got to see the Gundam, in Shinjuku. Yeah, it was crazy. That's about the craziest thing I did last year.
Yeah, that's really cool. I've always wanted to go, so you're gonna have to tell me sort of like where to go. I'm sure you've got like places mapped out, right?
I would say Shinjuku is a great place to start. They have these bars where they're like the size of this, like, kind of room, and that's it. Only seats like 4. And you just kind of bar hop between them, and you just kind of jump around, and it's just this alley full of just alleys, like just full of just little bars like that.
Did you sing or do karaoke?
Oh, we did karaoke. Yeah.
That's super big too, right?
That was awesome. Yeah. They did. I ordered sake, and I'm thinking they're gonna serve it like they serve it here, like really small. They gave me a mug.
No way.
A freaking mug like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I drank that, and yeah, we were partying. It stays open till 6.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
I guess now you can say you're big in Japan.
I guess yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
You just haven't heard about big in Japan, right?
Wait till we go back. I mean, I'll bring my acoustic and we'll play. Who knows?
That's cool. I'm definitely looking forward to this project, man. I think you sort of had it in your back pocket and then just didn't share it, because I think there's a lot of tracks, a lot of bangers, just stuff that's already out there. It's been out there for a while. There's a lot of gems out there.
Man, thank you. I hope people like it. I'm glad that you like it. It's just really want to make sure that it's I'm just excited for it.
Yeah.
I hadn't really talked about it. I kind of moved on from it, and now it's back. And
yeah,
so hey, we're back.
I'm honored that this is the first stop.
It's the first stop, man.
You let the secret out. So
yeah.
That's super cool. I always tell people, hey, when you've got a project, you're always welcome back. A lot of people don't take me up on that.
Oh, here I did.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I
man.
appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. So.
Definitely plug it in one more time. Where can people find you? It sounds like it's all going to be a surprise drop for the actual Jay and the Bishops. But
yes.
In the meantime,
you can find us at Spotify. So just Jay plus the Bishops.
Okay.
Easy to find. You can find us on YouTube as well. We have a couple of videos out as well. It will drop May 17th. Voodoo will come out. There's going to be the radio edition, which is a shorter version. And then you'll get the extended edition.
Awesome.
A week from that. So
cool.
Yeah.
Maverick certified. I approve.
Maverick certified.
Yeah,
all right.
Heard it here first.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I want to thank you for your time. I'm super excited. All right. There you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, the super talented CHALLO on the Maverick Podcast. In dreams, we trust.